Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, Genghis Khan, Napoleon Bonaparte, the culmination of the four great conquerors. Picture a man who shed tears not because conquering 2 million square miles was insufficient, but because the glory of it all consumed him. Alexander the Great harbored a singular passion: to conquer the world. He led his army fearlessly into battle, almost immortal in his pursuit of victory. For a decade, his tireless men sought respite, yearning to return home and savor the luxuries they had earned. Yet, their king coveted neither riches nor rule. His sole focus remained on conquest. All went smoothly until he encountered a formidable obstacle in India. Alexander faced numerous losses battling Porus, his most arduous confrontation, wounded and with his horse perishing in the struggle. He relentlessly urged his fatigued troops forward. Across the river stood another immense Indian army, revitalized and prepared. Despite his men's pleas to end the campaign, the indomitable king, for once, did not heed. This marked the beginning of his decline. Notorious for his drinking, Alexander's excesses one night led to severe illness. Opportunistic generals gathered, pondering the fate of his vast empire, asked about his successor. Alexander cryptically replied, "To the strongest." This sparked a 50-year war among his generals, shattering the Macedonian Empire before it fully formed. It was never about Macedonia for Alexander. It was always about himself, paralyzed and declared dead by physicians. Greek historians claimed Alexander's body did not decompose for 6 days, evidence, they believed, of his divine status, unbeknownst to them. Modern scientists posit a neurological disorder, possibly inducing a coma. It's conceivable that Alexander, entombed alive, overheard the plots against him. Thus, the narrative unfolds, a tale of conquest, ambition, and the inevitable decline of a once mighty conqueror. Next, let's delve into the admirer of Alexander, Gaius Julius Caesar. As Alexander wept for the absence of uncharted worlds to conquer, Caesar, engrossed in Alexander's exploits, reportedly shed tears. Addressing his men, he lamented, "At my age, Alexander had conquered Darius, yet I have achieved nothing comparable." His idolization of Alexander mirrored self-obsession and narcissism. Upon attaining significant power as a general and statesman, Caesar disrupted the Roman Republican system, boldly proclaiming himself dictator perpetuo, dictator in perpetuity. Unapologetic, he asserted, "If you must break the law, do it to seize power. In all other cases, observe it." This audacious move instilled fear in Roman senators who perceived Caesar's intent to establish a monarchy, threatening their authority. The infamous Ides of March in 44 BC witnessed a group of 60 senators assassinating Caesar during a Senate meeting. Symbolizing their affection, they stabbed him 23 times. Caesar's final gaze fell upon his adopted son and trusted ally, Marcus Brutus. Thus unfolded a chapter of history driven by the complexities of power, adulation, and the tragic demise of a formidable figure. As the dust settled among the assailants, the stage shifted to the medieval era, known for the valiant crusaders. However, their prominence was dimmed by the rise of Genghis Khan, the beast of the East. He conquered vast territories, surpassing even the legendary Alexander. His ambition to unite the entire world under a single sword. Yet, Genghis Khan differed from Alexander and Caesar. He didn't perceive himself as a deity or a savior. He acknowledged his role as a tyrant, boldly declaring, "The greatest happiness is to scatter your enemy, to drive him before you, to witness cities reduced to ashes, to see those who love him shrouded in tears, and to gather into your bosom his wives and daughters." The accounts of his demise vary. Some say he succumbed to the bubonic plague, while others claim he was shot on horseback, meeting his fate a few days later. Another report suggests a fatal castration by a princess of the Western Shia Empire, kept forcibly as a concubine. The mystery surrounding his death arose by design. Before his passing, Khan instructed his family and followers to keep it a secret. During a critical juncture in the Mongols' 20-year pursuit of conquering the Western Shia Empire, Genghis Khan's demise became a crucial secret. The conquest took precedence over his grand funeral, and even in death, Khan's mere presence brought devastation. His followers, loyal to the end, silenced all who crossed the path of his funeral procession, ensuring the secret endured through the ages, echoing into the next 5 centuries. Arguably, the most formidable conqueror in history emerged in the form of Napoleon Bonaparte. The shift from traditional weapons like swords and spears to the era of artillery had begun, and Napoleon stood as an undisputed genius in the art of war while he ascended to the throne. Defense of revolutionary France, his ambitions soared far beyond. His personality was arguably more eccentric than his predecessors. Caesar saw himself as the sole messiah to his people. Alexander envisioned himself as a god. Genghis ruled as a tyrant overlord. And then there was Napoleon, who regarded himself as an artist of war. His famous words resonate: "I love power, but it is as an artist that I love it." To him, the battlefield was a canvas, and he, the artist, skillfully crafting victory. His immense concentration and photographic memory were evident in the intricate details of campaigns. In 1805, during a crucial campaign, one of his subordinates struggled to locate his division. In a moment of brilliance, Napoleon effortlessly provided the unit's present location, where he would be for the next 3 nights, along with the status and resume of the unit's strength and subordinates' military record. This, from an army of 7 corps and a total of 200,000 men, with all units scattered across the map, was a testament to his unparalleled mental prowess. Victories echoed across Europe and the Mediterranean region as Napoleon's forces moved like the wind, albeit louder, however. As the stakes escalated and the battles intensified, the toll on life and the brutality of war became ever more apparent. The climax occurred at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815, where Napoleon suffered defeat and was subsequently captured by the British forces, contrary to the desire for his martyrdom. The British chose to house arrest him in a humble abode with a few loyal followers. Here, in constant denial of his circumstances, Napoleon hosted dinner parties where men donned military dress and women adorned evening gowns and jams, attempting to recreate the ambience of his ruling days. Isolation and loneliness took their toll, and on the 5th of May 1821, he breathed his last. In his final confession, Napoleon bared his soul, expressing everything dear to him: his country, military career, and his beloved wife Josephine. The end of this great conqueror mirrored the fates of his counterparts. One succumbed to sudden illness, another fell at the hands of his own men in trade, an arrow claimed Genghis Khan, and the artist met his demise in captivity. Though their exits varied, one common thread bound them: an unquenchable desire for more.